Hey guys, this is Factorio Meiosis, episode number 4. So we have a pretty good amount of real estate available to us after our extensive extermination experiments with the indigenous. That's kind of almost an alliteration. I tried to make indigenous start with an E, didn't really work. I was just sort of winging it. Maybe if I sat down and wrote something out, we could extend it a little bit. Anyway, we killed a bunch of aliens. That's the TLDR. We've got quite a big area, and it's time to, one, add a few more cells. We got a huge pocket of copper there with a little teeny pocket of iron connected to it. Big pocket of coal. And we have the chance to finally start to think about in depth how we're going to handle the rails. You can see on the map, on the mini-map here, let me turn off the overlay by hitting Alt. I've been trying to fiddle around and reacquaint myself with how trains work and how we're going to do this. I had it in my mind from the beginning of the series to create a modular system of rail lines that we would run around and put down with blueprints and let construction robots do all the hard work. Because if this series, if this map is going to take on really monumental proportions, then we have to automate the construction of this type of stuff. And we have to have it thought out and make it work ahead of time. And so I thought we were going to have to wait a little bit for that. And then I was digging around in the research. I'm only really researching stuff as I need it. I don't really feel in a huge rush to finish it. I could have already finished all of it, but we're just doing it as we need it. I was looking around and I saw this, the personal roboport. This was not in the game the last time I did a full Let's Play series on Factorio, and I think it was an often requested thing. This lets us use construction robots from our modular armor, and it is going to make laying down the rail stuff so much easier. Instead of running around putting down a roboport and putting in the robots and then putting down the supply chest, all we need is to have this thing inside of our modular armor, and we can do it all on the fly as we run around. So we're going to research that. And let me turn this back on. While we're doing that, I need to start making some flying robot frames so we can make some construction robots. So let me see. You need that and that. What else was it? Green, and you need these guys. Okay, there we go. And then you're going to need some green as well. So let's go pick up some more. In fact, I can probably just snag some from there. It's my nice buffer storage, aka train. Okay, and these things take half a second, but these things take 20 seconds. So we're going to let that go for a while. The personal roboport is finished. So I'm going to go ahead and research the logistics system, so we have active provider and requester chest. There we go. Yeah, that's going to take a while. We're going to want 30 to 40 of these things, probably. And if we lose some, it wouldn't hurt to have a few extra. Already we've got one. Okay, so while that's going, let's look at what it takes to make the personalized roboport. It takes 10 seconds. And takes 10 processing units, 40 iron gear wheels, 20 steel, and 45 batteries. Okay, well, let's go snag some batteries. How many do these need? These only need 2 per. So I can probably take at least half of those. That's enough for 3 of these. So these take up a 2x2 grid in our armor. So we could, while we're doing this, we could replace the shields. We don't need the shields if we're not in combat. So we could fit 3. Okay, so let's go pick up some gear wheels. Gear wheels are occasionally needed in bulk. And some things I haven't set up automation for. In the fullness of time, we'll probably have an automated thing that just makes everything. An automated area for every single item. But for now, I'm just going to be... I thought I limited this. I guess I didn't. I set up this just so it's continually making gear wheels, so if I ever need them in bulk for something like this that I only need a few of, we can come by and snag them. And now we need a few more steel, so I'm going to make 3. There we go, and let's just snag some more steel. I might need it for some of this other stuff we're making. Grab some out of there. This area is mostly inert. I don't think it's the right word I'm looking for. It's mostly in stasis until we really get going. Once we start putting down rail lines en masse, that'll speed up and will have to be used more often. Logistics systems finished. Okay, let me look in my crafting menu here. Yeah, we have all 4. Okay, that's what I was looking for. We have passive provider, a requester chest, and storage chest. Those are 3 we need. I don't really ever use active provider. And I did craft a normal roboport, but we don't actually need it. Okay, so how many of these we got? We've got 5. So let's give this a go. Let's take the batteries out. Can I shift-click these out? I can. And then where did they... Here they are. Personal roboport. Cool. All right, electricity. I wonder if one fusion reactor... I didn't really actually look at the energy requirements. Transmission, 4 kilowatt. Robo recharge rate, 2 times 200 kilowatt. Internal buffer recharge rate, 700 kilowatt. Maybe it'll just take a while for these things to fill up with charge. This thing requires 75 kilowatt. Okay, so the internal buffer, I think, is maybe what's filling up 700 kilowatt, and that's why it's taking so long. This thing is only giving 25 apiece because I've got 3. That's a guess. I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Do these guys go in my inventory? Or do I have to place them, like, in the armor itself? Let's see if I can even do that. No, I can't do that. Okay, so to place an item, you could just do that. Yep, okay, just for those guys being in my inventory. That placed. And if you hold down Shift when you're placing an item, it will put a ghosted version, and then the robot will place it. So if we want to, for instance, mass produce something that looks like... Oh, I haven't made any blueprints. Let's make one of those. And just like 3 of these, they don't stack. Okay, let's just make that a blueprint. And we'll put that just on the bar for now, just to illustrate. So if this is what I wanted to make, here's the range. It's much smaller than a normal roboport, but that's okay. Oh yeah, so they take it right from my inventory. And then if we want to take it down, we made a mistake. Awesome. Let's take this one down too. Oh yeah, they've updated the graphics of the construction robots too. Very cool. And then they should just pop back into my inventory. All right, let's clear this. You need an electric circuit to clear them. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, can I drop... I've got a bunch of random stuff in my inventory. I could probably drop some of it. Let's just keep some of this on me. And are you still making? You are. There's 6 more. You've got plenty of materials, and you've got plenty of materials. It's just going to be slow. Okay, we need some circuits, so let's get some from our buffer store. Oops! I control-clicked. I meant to shift-click. Okay, right-click on that, clears it. Put that back in ye old inventory. Awesome. Okay, so we've got 11 bots. That should get us going. And while they're constructing, I think I'll just go over very basically what I've been thinking about here. And how trains work, how stops work, how, mainly how the signals work, because it can be very confusing. I talked about previously how I wanted to have the solar panels and the accumulators be strung along our power line. And they're also going to be conveying our power via the signals to connect up the different cells. So here's some different ideas. I was trying to find out what width of lines. So if we've got a train going this way, and then a train coming this way, then we have room with this configuration for 2 solar panels in between, and then accumulators. This sort of works. It's not exactly the right ratio. We'd have to work on the layout. But it's fairly close, and that works. Then if we make it 1 wider, you can see if you... The rail lines only go every other space. So you have to kind of work around that. So if we had 3 solar panels in width, we've got this leftover space, which doesn't look very good. So we can either go with 2 solar panels in width or 4 solar panels in width. 4 solar panels in width would give us a lot of solar panel coverage. We'd have space to put a lot of solar panels and accumulators in between them. But I think the most important thing is that it looks cool on this screen, on the map. The whole thing needs to look cool. That's job number 1. Job number 2 is efficiency. Job number 3, don't die. So I think we're probably going to go with this, and we may have to have some supplementary areas with solar panels because we might just not have enough with that. Oh, Hi. What are you doing? Oh, you were repairing stuff because you're a construction robot. Oh, I didn't even think about that they would automatically be repairing stuff because I've got repair packs in my inventory. Okay, fellas. Okay, cool. I guess I don't have to manually repair stuff anymore. This is going to make the laser creep way better, by the way. They seem to be slower than if they were coming from a roboport. Or unless they nerfed the repair from robos. Okay, so that's the first thing, is trying to figure out how wide we want it. Then we've got to create a modular system where we can use blueprints to stamp stuff down. And you know what? It's nighttime. Let me just wait for the day to come. So we're going to use some blueprints. First blueprint we're going to need is going to be a big intersection, sort of like this. Not exactly, but basically enough. It's going to let the trains cross by each other through the intersection. The trains can also turn left like this. They can also turn right like this, or they can do a U-turn through the roundabout section. That'll be the blueprint number 1. It'll also have power lines. Okay, it's going to have aliens running through it. Take that, alien. It's going to have power lines because we're going to be connecting up the power to our various cells with the rail lines as well. It's going to have solar panels and accumulators. So second blueprint we'll need will be a straight section, longer than that, and also with the solar panels and accumulators. And the next blueprint we'll need will be a turnaround section, sort of like that. And so let's just say, assume that this is a cell, symbolically speaking, and there's a train needs to pick up stuff from here. So it's going to come down the rail line, it's going to exit the rail line, and it's going to come to the cell, pick stuff up, get back on. It needs to turn around to go back into the system. So that's why we need a turnaround thing. So we don't just have to plop down a full intersection every time we come to the end of a certain straight section. So that's 3. We'll also need a 4th one to have the train leave the system and have a pickup spot or a drop-off spot. So maybe 1 pickup spot, 1 drop-off spot, maybe 5 blueprints. But we're going to have to connect it up with rail signals, and that's not even the final design. It's not its final form. And there is actually a new type of rail signal. Since the last time I played, I had to spend some time messing around with it and looking up what it does. It is the rail chain signal, but let me just back up for a second. If you've never messed around with rails and find them confusing, or this is your first time watching Factorio, whatever, let me just give a brief rundown. What rail signals do is they allow you to have multiple trains on one stretch of rail. We didn't need it for this little thing we set up because there's only one train on the one rail. So not necessary here, but we will need it in the future. What they do is they break the rail circuit system up into blocks. So if you mouse over this guy, this is a normal rail signal. You can tell the difference visually, by the way. These guys have 3 little lights: green, yellow, red. If it's green, the system is set up properly. If it's red, that means there's a train in the next section. If it's flashing green to yellow to red to yellow to green, that means it's not set up right. You did something wrong. So these, for instance, these guys are red because there is a train in the next section. So those are the normal rail signals. The chain signals look a little bit different. They just have the one light, and the light's a bit bigger. That's how you visually tell. But, oh, it got dark again, didn't it? What the signals do is they break the rail up into blocks. So if you mouse over this guy, you can see what the block is. It's from this signal to the next one. And if you mouse over him, you can see it's from the next one, and then it sort of stops. But it does continue all the way to the next signal, which is here. So this guy will tell you if there's a train anywhere between here and there. And if there is, it will turn red. So for instance, let's see, if I put a train down here, he's going to immediately turn red. This guy's still green because there's not a train within the next section. Like so. Now it turned red. So that's how the normal rail signals work. The chain signals work by letting you know if the next rail signal is open or not. So this chain signal is currently red, and he is red because the next rail signals are red. So, for instance, if I put a rail signal right in front of it, it will turn green because the rail signal in front of it is green. Now, what's the application? This is mainly used for intersections so that you don't have log jams where you have trains blocking each other and preventing things from working out. The other thing you use it for is if you want to split off. So let's say we've got this rail system, and we have 3 different stops where a train has to go to 3 different cells for, let's say, to drop off stuff. And we've got a pickup spot here. Let's say they're all dropping coal off to different spots. This guy is the coal cell, and they're picking up coal from here, and they've got to drop it off to 3 different ways, but they're all on the same rail signal. So let me just go ahead and run them. They all start at source A, which is this guy. And this guy goes to drop off A. This guy goes to drop off B. And this guy goes to drop off C. This lets you basically, if one train is going slower than the others, it'll let the other ones pass it by. And I think I set it up so that one of these guys, yeah, that guy has a 20-second drop off. That guy has a 20-second drop off. I think I gave this one a shorter one. Just to illustrate, so now it's yellow. Now it's, okay, now it's green. Now one of the interesting things this will do, or it's not, it didn't turn yellow, it turned blue. So one of the cool things you can do with the chain signal is you can have multiple signals in front of it. If you've got a mixture of green and red, it will give you a blue signal, which means that one of the options is open, and it'll let that train through. Now if we used a normal signal here, like so, this wouldn't work. We would have a deadlock. Oh! We would have a dead character. Oops. All right, so anyway, the thing you need to take away from this is anytime you have an intersection, what you want to do is you want to put the chain signal before the intersection, the junction, and the normal signal afterwards. Now, we don't actually need the chain signal here because we've got 3 different stops. Let's say we only had 1 stop. So let's actually get rid of this. So 2 of them are just going to keep going. Okay, let's take this off the list. He's just going to go, I think he should just go around and round. If he's only got 1 option. I've actually never had a train just go in a loop. We can set up some extra stops if we need to. We'll see what happens here after he gets going. So basically, right now what we've got is we've got 1 stop, and then we've got 2 other ways to pass around it. And now we actually do need this because the trains aren't being told which side to go down. And what are you doing? Oh, I got rid of you. Okay, let's get rid of that. That's why it's not going. Oh, we need to give you another stop. Okay, so that's why it's not moving because it's only got 1 stop. So let's just say this is drop off A. There. Okay, so let's tell him to go to drop off A. So he'll go in a circuit. And just have that go for 5 seconds. There we go. Okay, now he's going to go. Now this guy's going to come around, and we'll have to tell him the same thing. Drop off A. For 5 seconds. Okay, now what's this guy doing? We'll have to update him as well. Okay, he's going from source A to drop off B. Yeah, we just got rid of the wrong one. So let's say he's going to sit at drop off B for 20 seconds. There we go. And so when the other trains come by, they need a way to get around this train. And if we didn't have a chain signal here, they wouldn't know which one to go. Oh, and they still don't. Okay, now he goes. Now he's going. All right. Oh, I guess was the next block. I'm not sure why he's stopping at the blue one. Oh, he's stopping here at the stop. Don't get hit by the train, buddy. Okay, it looked like he was stopping at the chain signal, which confused me. But no, he's stopping here at the actual scheduled stop. So if the train here in the middle is clogging up the rail and the other guys need to get by him, that's what the chain signal's for. And you can also use it for intersections. We're going to need to use it extensively for our roundabout. Let's see if we can. Let's make this guy stop much longer. Let's make it like 50 seconds. Just to illustrate that when this guy finishes his 5-second stop, he will automatically go around taking either one of these. I don't know which one he would prefer. Looks like he prefers to go right. Awesome. I wonder, is this guy going to go around to the right as well? I'm not sure. He probably will. That's probably a good guess. Yeah, okay. But if we had a lot of trains occupying the system, they would have multiple pass-throughs, etc. That's the idea. Here is a little bit more advanced intersection that I've put some more thought into. It's got the 2 spaces for the solar panels, and it has actually 2 rings. The reason I have built 2 rings into this one is so that, let's say we've got a train here, and he's trying to go, let's give him some coal, and I'm just going to drive him manually. I left the coal in the cart, never mind. Let's say that this train is going around the inner circle, trying to make a U-turn. So he's going around the inner circle, trying to go around the U-turn. And there is a train sitting, like, coming through here. There's a train coming through here. And this train wants to go over here and just go straight through the intersection. Well, this train is going to have to wait ordinarily for this train to finish his U-turn. So it's going to slow down everything. The trains are going to get backed up. And by building a second ring into my intersection, when this guy's busy in his U-turn, this guy can just take this route, this alternate route, through the intersection. All right, well, I think the system is working. It seems to be working. I've got, I think, 7 trains now. I've got 8 stops. I had to expand this outer ring so that we could fit enough signals in between the different junctions and intersections. The major rule of thumb is before and after every crossing or merging in this. Oh my gosh, that was close. You need a signal in between every one, a chain signal. So in between this guy and this guy, we've got one here, and then one there, and then one there, and then one there, and on the way out, you go to a normal signal, and it was not quite working. I was only ever having 1 train in the entire intersection at a time, so they weren't prioritizing the inner versus outer ring, until I moved the chain signal out to the, instead of starting it here, I moved it out here, so that now they will be able to select the blue. When it's blue and one of the ways is open, one of them isn't, it will select either the left or right. And I'm beginning to wonder if I need to move the exit farther out, all the way out of the intersection. Once we start building this for real, the distance between these and the intersections will probably be a bit greater. But if we just watch it for a bit, let's see, this guy is waiting. Let's not get hit by a train. What are you waiting on? Oh, this guy is here. Oh, you ran out of... Okay, I didn't screw anything up. He just ran out of fuel. He ran out of fuel, so he's they're blocking stuff. Okay. Phew. I was a bit worried there for a second. And this is actually good because now we'll have a bunch of trains going all at once, and we can see if we'll have multiple... Oh God. This guy ran out as well. Let's go refuel him. And let's observe before more of them run out. And they are taking the inner track before I move the chain signals out to before the beginning of the intersection. They were only taking the outer track if they wanted to go straight through. And now they take the inner track if that's available. This guy's doing a U-turn. This guy's waiting on the U-turn. I guess that guy had priority. I added extra U-turns so we could see now we've got 2 guys in the intersection. See right there. He took the inner track while the outer track was busy. Did we have another guy run out of fuel? We did. But it works. It works. So the next step from here is to start adding in solar panels and create the blueprints for the straight tracks and the turnaround. Well, I've finished the first blueprint. The intersection is all done. I tore down the other stuff, and I'm going to hold off a little bit before we start stamping this all around, because I would like to get this video out and get some feedback from the real diehard Factorio players on anything I might have done wrong, or any sort of feedback or recommendations on how to improve it before we start stamping it. Another thing have been considering, but I think I forgot to talk about, is we're going to need a section in these blueprints somewhere with a gate to drive through, because this is pretty dense. This is going to be hard just to run through. But here is the blueprint. It's got 185 rails, 52 chain signals, etc. You can see there. Decided to use the substations to power the thing. It was the most efficient way to do it, particularly in the center if I wanted to pack all these solar panels in here. This one substation powers all of that. Which just basically perfectly covers the center there. And it has, which is pretty good, It has almost a perfect ratio of accumulators to solar panels. 76 to 88 gives you a ratio of 0.86. The established best ratio, as given on the Factorio forums, there's been several threads on the Factorio forums with a lot of math, and I'm just going to accept their number as being correct. 0.84 accumulators to solar panels, or 21 accumulators to 25 solar panels, is an easier way to think about it, I guess. But this is very close at 0.86. So I think this is pretty good, and next time we will start stamping this around and having trains go around on it, and we're going to have to make the other ones as well, of course. But I want to get some feedback on it before we just start going crazy with it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We will see you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.